Hello everyone! How are y'all doing today? Happy New Year to those of y'all who are already in 2025. I am not already in 2025. I've got six hours. Yeah, I've got 6 hours until I'm in 2025, but still kind of a last minute thing, I know. But yes, hello, welcome to my last stream before 2025. I am playing today the last chapter of VividStasis. I know I haven't streamed this before, but at the same time, this is the kind of story that you really need context for. But at the same time, I'm really excited and I didn't want to wait to play it. Got a couple of hours before the time loop starts. Nice! I've got, yeah, just almost exactly 6 hours now. So I am excited. I am also really excited to play this, although I don't know if I have enough, battery points to unlock all the story chapters yet, so I may have to play the actual rhythm game for a couple of songs before I get into the story and the puzzles. But that should be fine. I have a couple I can play. But beyond that, I don't really have too much to talk about, so I think I'm just gonna get started. Alright, here we go. Gotta put my chat in a separate window so I can actually see it. And now let's go. Okay, yeah, give me a second. Node flow chart. Okay, I have 568 batteries. I don't think that's enough to hit. Oh, episode X1. Terminal Journey, final chapter. Audio on. Yes, thank you for the reminder. That's important, especially given that it's a rhythm game, and the music in this game is really good. What was I doing? Okay, yes. So, I am gonna play a couple of rhythm game songs just so I can make sure I have enough points to do the whole story. I'll start with main story, all songs. Here we go. I'll set it to intermediate to start, and then it's been a hot second since I played this. There was a bug that was stopping me from playing it for a minute, so I haven't played this in a second, but so I'm a little out of practice, but I should be fine once I get a little bit of a warm-up in. I'm gonna want to start on a 7 or an 8. Sure, I'll play a Stellian, why not? Boost type, I want battery. I have not seen this game before. It's technically still in early access. It's a pretty polished game for a game that's in early access, if you ask me. But it is like a rhythm sort of puzzle mystery hybrid. Well, okay, so the core gameplay is the rhythm game, which is what I'm playing now. And then it's got like a mystery style story to it with puzzles to unlock each new section of the story, and ARG elements as well. There was actually an ARG for this final chapter that I did not get the chance to participate in, but they've had a small ARG, not like a super expansive one, but they've had a small ARG for almost every major update for this game. And the puzzles themselves have ARG elements too. Oh, I hate this pattern. Let me know if the game audio is too quiet, because it's a little quiet on my end. So the story chapter we're starting today is chapter 5. Sorry, it's a little hard to talk and play the rhythm game well at the same time. I actually only just finished chapter 4 last night after my last stream. It's a little quiet. Okay. Let me turn it up then. I think I'll have to turn it up in the settings menu. I really don't know how to explain the story up to this point. So basically you have this girl, your main character is Saturday, who's searching for her missing sister. And as she's searching, things start to get weird. Music volume, 85 should be good. Things do start to get weird. I'm not entirely sure how to explain it past weird. Basically she finds out that the entire world... Okay, so her memories don't necessarily line up with the things she's experiencing. Like, she ends up in places that feel familiar, but she doesn't have any memory of being. Sort of like advanced deja vu, almost. And then eventually she finds out that there is... basically, the world she's been living in is a simulation. As part of a machine called the Duskbreaker that was designed to help people recover from trauma. But Saturday was the first subject, and things went wrong, and basically it trapped her in the Duskbreaker and split her personality into 4 parts. You have Saturday, or you have protagonist Saturday. They'll probably call her protagonist, but she's sort of our main character. She's the one that's, like, actively experiencing the story as it's happening. You have Storyteller, Saturday, who is the version of her that knows she's in a simulation, that has her memories from before she entered the simulation, like, is aware of the fact that she's in a simulation, and is trying to find a way to deal with it. And then you have Dawn the Liberator, who is... and Suki the World Keeper. The World Keeper and the Liberator are both physical embodiments of the fight versus flight instinct. Dawn the Liberator is the physical embodiment of the instinct to fight. And Suki the World Keeper is the physical embodiment of the instinct to run away or to suppress feelings or to keep things as they are. Sorry, my parents are watching football downstairs, so you may overhear them a little tiny bit. At the end of chapter 4, Saturday and protagonist Saturday, who I'm just gonna call Saturday, protagonist and the storyteller Saturday merged into sort of one. And as far as I can tell, the aim of this last chapter is to convince the other two to merge so they can escape the simulation. I think that's probably the best way I can explain it going in. Is my game audio any better now? I can turn it up in OBS as well. It should be better now. I got into this game through the rhythm game aspect, because I love rhythm games. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. I adore rhythm games, even though they kind of kill my hands sometimes. And the rhythm gameplay in this, really, really, really good. Like, genuinely the best 4-key rhythm game I've ever played, which is very high praise if you're like me and you've played almost every rhythm game you can get your hands on. And the story and the quality of the story and the puzzles just makes it just a really solid, complete experience. Okay. Gonna play probably 2 more rhythm game songs and then I'll start the story. You can tell, well, if you've seen me play this before, you can tell that I'm a little bit out of practice because I'm just, my accuracy isn't great. Normally I struggle with some of the patterns on some of the tougher charts, but I usually have a high enough overall accuracy to make up for it to some degree. But since I'm out of practice, my accuracy's off. Depending on the difficulty of the chart, I will usually have more than 90% of the song be a crit or an A crit. Under the combo number at the top, you'll see each note's accuracy rating. Usually I'll have more than 90% of the song, well, depending on the difficulty of a chart. Anything up to about a 9, I'll usually have more than 90% of the song a crit or an A crit. Once you get to like 10 and 11, it's significantly harder. I'd say I usually have 70 to 80% crit or A crit on a 10. When I talk about like 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, that's the difficulty rating of the song. Yeah, I'll usually have a much higher crit number on 8 and 9. On a 10, I'd say I usually have 70 to 80% crit. Anything 11 and up is a little bit more of a struggle. Let's do one more song. Let's try a 10. Is there an input sync testing in the settings? Yeah, my inputs are synced, I'm just out of practice. It's, I just haven't played this in a hot second. There was a bug that was preventing you from playing songs from the rhythm game menu. You had to do this, like, really weird thing to circumvent it. And so I am very out of practice with this compared to where I normally am. Okay, get a little tiny break here. Something I do really like about this game is the bumper notes, because they allow you to have a lot more versatility in the chart. These little notes that the ones that I'm playing right now, where they're red or blue and they cover half the screen, those are bumpers. Give me a second, I can't talk right now. Yeah, my accuracy's bad on this one too. The red, or like the darker red / blue notes that cover half the screen, those are bumpers. And what they do is, yeah, I got an A, which is not good. And 11 fails. Ouch. Which, okay, 11 fails is not objectively bad, but it is bad for what I expect of myself. I'm debating whether I want to try an 11 or not. I think an 11 will probably kill my hands. But I can do a 9+, probably. The bumper notes, you only have to hit one of the keys, so this is 4 keys. I play it with D, F, J, K. The bumper notes, you have to hit one of the 2 keys on that side of the screen. So for the one on the left side of the screen, you would have to hit D or F, and the one on the right side of the screen, you would have to hit J or K. And I like the addition of those a lot because it gives you a lot more versatility in the charting. I don't know if I'm being too, like, rhythm game technical or not. The charting is... So a chart is what you call the pattern of notes that corresponds to each song. So it's not the song itself, it's specifically the inputs you need to do for that song. Problem that I've noticed in certain rhythm games where you have one person doing a lot of charts. Like, this is a game made by a fairly small team, and the charting team is fairly small compared to most rhythm games as well. And a problem that I've noticed in some rhythm games is that when you have a lot of charts done by the same person, they kind of start to feel samey after a while because people like to do... Like, for example, some people have specific patterns that they like to include in their charts. But with the bumper notes, well, actually, I don't know if it's the bumper notes in particular or just that the people who do the charting for this are really good at it. But I haven't noticed any, like, feeling of sameness between the charts, even between charts done by the same person. I think the bumper notes help with that because they give you more options. Like, when you get these bumper notes on one side in really quick succession, you can alternate which key you press for it. Ignore how abysmal the end was there. My only frame of reference for rhythm games are Guitar Hero and FNF, but I've watched a video essay or two on the subject. Actually, Guitar Hero and FNF are probably some of the best references you could have for a game like this, because these are, well, 4-key rhythm games. Games like this are modeled after games like Guitar Hero, like old arcade-style rhythm games. And specifically, although this one's probably more similar to FNF, you have each key corresponds to an input. So like with FNAF, you have the arrow key, or not FNAF, FNF, you have the arrow keys. For this one, I have it manually set to DFJK, but you probably could bind them to the arrow keys if you wanted to. And then each key corresponds to like a lane on screen. So like in my example, D is lane 1, the far left, F is lane 2, the middle left, J is lane 3, the middle right, and K is lane 4, the far right. And so what the bumper notes do is you only have to press, they visually cover both lanes, but you have the option of which lane you want to press, which input you want to press to hit that note. So it gives you more versatility in the feel of the chart. Like, back there when you had the bumper notes in really quick succession, you can alternate keys for that, which makes it easier than trying to press the same key really, really fast. Alright, I think I have enough points to cover all Chapter 5. So here goes. Question mark. Hey! Hey! Huh? A voice calling for me? I stirred in my dream a bit and saw a young figure fade into the horizon. It was my sister, Suki. You going to laze around all day? You're a bad friend, you know. Huh? Why? Your friends are working so hard for you, and what are you doing for them? Holding things up by taking a nap? Wait, a nap? Yes, Sadie, you're asleep. You're dreaming. How do you know? Oh, come on. You know how I know, and it's the same way you know. Of course, she was right. This was a dream, because my sister wasn't with us anymore. Chat box covers a bit of the text box. Okay, let me fix that. Where's my game capture? There we are. I can shrink the window a little bit, and that should work. There we go. So wake up. I don't want to. I'm going to stand here and tell you to wake up until you wake up. Suki always had this stubborn side to her, which in some ways made her the perfect big sister to myself. Hey, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up and at 'em, wake up, get up, hey! As the world of dreams faded away, I watched her shape float away from me. Her voice, however, continued to reverb through my ears. Up! You! Up! Saturday! Oh my god! Okay, so here we meet some of the characters I was talking about earlier. This is Suki, the World's Keeper. She is not the same as Suki Saturday's sister. Suki Saturday's sister is dead. Suki Saturday's sister, her death is the reason that Saturday is traumatized, and the whole reason why she's in this situation in the first place. Because she participated in a trial to try and help her heal from that trauma. This is Saturday. This is, well, Protag Saturday, I guess? It's kind of complicated now. So this is Protag Saturday, who I'm just gonna call Saturday. At the end of the last chapter, she merged with the storyteller. So now they're sort of like, now they're in one body. So she is simultaneously Protagonist Saturday and Storyteller Saturday. It's a little bit complicated, but that's why I'm just going to call her Saturday for simplicity's sake. We will meet another character who is looks similar to Suki with the long hair, long dark hair, similar like dress and art style and all that. Like, I mean, they're clearly the same art style, but you'll see that like Suki has this like halftone patterning on her versus where Saturday doesn't. Well, I mean, Saturday does too, but with Suki's it's much more prominent. It's like Severance, but the Matrix. Kinda, yeah. They're in a simulation. Well, sort of like the Matrix. They're in a simulation. They're all aware of the fact that they're in a simulation now. And they're trying to get out. But in order to get out, Saturday has to merge each of the four divergent aspects of her personality. So, Protag Saturday and Storyteller Saturday have merged now. They are this one right here, with the pink hair. The two that they have left to sort of, I don't want to say assimilate, because that sounds like it's involuntary. It has to be a voluntary process, that's what the issue is Suki, who is the World Keeper. She is the physical embodiment of Saturday's flight instinct. So you know like how when you get in a conflict you have fight or flight? Saturday's fight instinct and flight instinct were both split off from her main personality and given physical forms. So you have this Suki, who is the embodiment of Saturday's desire for things to stay as they are, for her to run away from her problems. And then you have Dawn, who we don't have in this scene, who is the embodiment of Saturday's instinct to fight things, to make sort of radical change without thinking. Like, sort of her recklessness, if that makes sense. And so, the current big conflict is that, Dawn wants to assimilate back with Saturday, but she wants to lead. She doesn't understand that she has to be an equal with the others. Along with the fact that she and Suki are, since they're literally each other's opposites, Dawn wants to escape without Suki, which is not physically possible without harming Saturday badly. But Dawn, of course, is fight and recklessness and all of that, and either doesn't realize or doesn't care, I'm not sure, that leaving without Suki will hurt Saturday. Suki, on the other hand, is just kind of along for the ride at this point. She's no longer fighting to keep things as they are. We've gotten sort of past the point where Suki would have any power to keep things as they are. Things are changing. She can't fight that. So what she can do is stick with Protag Saturday and try and protect her from Dawn as much as possible. So that's sort of where she is now. Huh? Moving on with the story. My eyes snapped open, and I saw a familiar face staring down at me. You are literally the worst. Huh? What time is it? Also, I think I've said this before, but this new Saturday, this merged Saturday with both storyteller and protagonist, so cute. I love this design. It's 2:34 p.m. Saturday. Do you know what 2:34 p.m. is? What? What is 2:34 p.m.? It's 15 whole minutes after we were supposed to be leaving is what it is. Sorry, I had a weird dream and I guess I just didn't want to leave. Hearing those words, Suki seemed to have understood, and her demeanor softened up a bit. Is there an interpretation where all 4 parts represent the 4 trauma responses? Because fight and flight are the ones everyone knows, fawn and freeze. I suppose they could. In that case, I guess, protagonist Saturday would probably be fawn, and storyteller would probably be freeze, and that storyteller was literally unable to do anything, in that she just had to watch as everything happened. She had no power to do anything, so I guess it would make sense that she's freeze. And then, I guess that just leaves Protag Saturday as fawn, although I don't necessarily know why she would be fawn, other than that just being the last one. But, actually, so Protag Saturday is the one without the trauma. She has the memories of having lived a whole life with her sister before her sister's disappearance, but not the memories of the aftermath. So I think that might explain why she's fawn, is she doesn't have that same, she doesn't have the trauma. So I guess she would be fawn because it's just her role is to sort of placate the real Saturdays, the whole Saturday's mind. About your sister, I'm guessing? Yeah, it was just a dream, though. Nothing but a figment of my own psyche. Suki scoffed, jokingly, trying to lighten the mood. Well, I'm a figment of your own psyche, so your wording hurts a little there, but I get it. I chuckled and stood up from the bed. Allison walked in. Allison is Saturday's girlfriend, partner? I'm not entirely sure what they are. They're in love. That's about all I got. I think fawn is the response to try and soothe the source of the trauma, so I think it fits. Yeah, in that case, it definitely fits Protag. Anyways, Allison. What voice am I giving Allison? I guess high and soft I feel like suits her. Good morning, sleepy day. How nice of you to rise and shine at the ripe hour of 2:34 p.m. I gave her a friendly glare. Oh, can it? I heard enough from her already. And it was all deserved, I'd like to think. Yeah, sorry for the delay. I'm ready to go now. So, in that case, then, this Saturday that we have in this scene right now is, she's Fawn and Freeze sort of fused together. All right. We walked down the stairs of Chio's apartment for the last time and out onto the street where Chio, Eri, and Kotomi were waiting. Chio, Eri, and Kotomi are all sort of side characters. Kotomi is Saturday's friend. Eri is the detective responsible for looking into Suki, Saturday's sister's disappearance / death. And Chio is like a friend, but more of like an older sister figure to Saturday, who is at least partially responsible for her being in the simulation. Don't really know how to explain it better than that. It's a little bit complicated if you can't tell. But, hey, good morning. Oh my god, I get it. Chio laughed. I figured she would have known I'd already heard more than my fair share of complaining from Suki and Allie. It's alright, we anticipated it. Eri's been keeping herself busy just fine. With what? Take a look yourself. I walked over to the door of the car and looked to see Eri's thumbs in a frenzy on her phone screen. She's playing a rhythm game. Ever since I'd bought her that cat plush, she'd become addicted to Noises Sunlight, the game it was from. I laughed. She didn't notice. Well, I don't actually know that she's playing a rhythm game, but Noises Sunlight, that is absolutely a rhythm game name right there. Yeah, that tracks. Anyway, are we all ready to go? Yep, hop in. Allison, Suki, and I walked over to the backseat of Chio's rather large car. It had been a few weeks since everything that had happened at the Hachioji Cemetery. We kept ourselves waiting, anticipating an attack from Dawn. But it had never come, which had led us to be even more suspicious of what she could be up to. After experiencing over 1,000,000 cycles simultaneously, I had overclocked myself, and was thrown out from my synchronization with Layer 2 by the Duskbreaker by EDEP. EDEP is sort of the simulation's guardian program, error detection, error protection. Its job is to basically keep Saturday from frying her own brain. I hadn't been able to access anything on layers 1 or 2 since, and it does this by sort of locking certain bits of either memories or experiences, or, in this case, layers. There's a whole meta-narrative here. So, within the simulation, there are 3 layers. 3 layers. Layer 1, Layer 2, Layer 3. Layer 1 is where Storyteller originally existed. Sort of the layer of her, she was literally trapped there. All she could do was watch. Layer 2 was where the World Keeper and the Liberator, Suki and Dawn, were. They were able to interact, but only in major moments. Like, they weren't able to interfere otherwise. And then Layer 3 is sort of the layer we're currently on, the layer where Protagonist Saturday exists and is experiencing everything. Protagonist Saturday is sort of the one, for lack of a better term, playing the game. Like, she's the one experiencing all of the cycles and all of the resets and everything that's happening within the events of the game. There's Layer 0, which is the quote-unquote real world within the context of this game, the world outside of the simulation. And then there's Layer 4, which is the layer that we're on, interacting with this game client. It is a little bit meta, to be honest, but I think it's kind of cool, personally. And then when Storyteller and Protagonist Saturday merged, she was given the ability to travel in between layers. layer 1, 2, and 3. She exists on layer 3, but it looks like right now, after the end of chapter 4, the system has locked her out of layers 1 or 2 for her own protection. Well, quote unquote, for her own protection. Again, the system's job is to keep Saturday from frying her own brain. I feel like I'm trying to play Umineko again, trying to untangle this 5 chapters in. Yeah, I'm sorry, the story is a little bit, complex. Or so we thought. Suki had come to my room, sweating, a few nights ago. Saturday. Allison and I jumped a bit. Neither of us were expecting the sudden intrusion. Yeah? What the hell's got you all riled up and sweaty? I remembered something. I remember things all the time. What did you remember? A back door in the simulated world that allows light remote access to the Duskbreaker terminal. Wait, what? Okay, calm down, then explain. Suki sat down on the oddly placed chair in the corner of the room and took a few deep breaths. So, you know how the Duskbreaker only simulates Japan, right? Yeah. It's not absolute. There were a few spots where the simulations naturally weakened at the absolute edges of the country. Huh, so like in Mind Blast when you go to the far place? I don't know what anything you just said means. It's like how in procedurally generated video games, if you go far enough out into the infinite world generation, you'll hit an overflow. Actually, Saturday being a gamer explaining this in gaming terms may actually be the best way to get y'all a little bit more clued in on this. Because I'm sure y'all understand gaming terms, or at least gaming terms to some degree. The game engine will stumble over itself trying to generate actual data. Yeah, it's somewhat the same principle here. Basically, hacking into the Duskbreaker is the simulation itself, through a point where the security of EDP is much weaker. I frowned. Wait. If this was there the whole time, how come you didn't make a beeline for that when you were flung onto layer 0 before? I was so out of it when that happened that it honestly completely slipped my mind. I never really had any reason to think about hacking into the Duskbreaker since I was already, at the very least, thought myself to be satisfied with my position on layer 1. Hi Mouse, the game is going. I really do not have the energy to try and explain everything again, so I am so sorry about how confused you're about to be. Basic rundown. Saturday's in the simulation. When she entered the simulation, her personality was forcibly split into 4 parts. Protag, Storyteller, Suki, and Dawn. At the end of she has to find a way to... Dude in the middle looks like Shenanigans with long hair. In order to get out of the simulation, Saturday has to overcome her trauma by refusing all 4 parts of her personality into one whole person. At the end of the last chapter, storyteller and protagonist fused. That's this Saturday that we're seeing right now with the pink hair. Suki, with the purple, is the physical embodiment of Saturday's flight instinct. You know, like fight or flight? She is literally flight. And Dawn, who is our current antagonist, is the physical embodiment of Saturday's fight instinct. Basically, they all need to fuse. Dawn does not want to do that. I guess that's fair, yeah. So where is this weak spot? Cape Soya, the northernmost point in Japan, in Hokkaido. And that was how we ended up packing our bags to take a trip to Sapporo, a big city near the point Suki had mentioned. I glanced out the window as the countryside flew past us. When you think about it, this whole journey's just been one long road trip from the bottom of Japan to the top, huh? What do you mean? Well, in the simulated history, we lived in Tanegashima, which is really close to the southernmost point of the country. Then we went up to Kagoshima for the summer, and out to Tokyo for the fall, and now we're going up to Sapporo for the winter. Okay, I've marked down Suki is chill and Dawn is not chill in my notes. Yeah, that sounds about right. Dawn is kind of the opposite of chill. Huh, I guess so, yeah. Well, it's more like every time you got to Tokyo, you looped back to Tanegashima and repeated that 8266 times. Oh, important detail that I forgot about. It was recently revealed that every time Saturday and Suki team like they're... every time Saturday and Suki seem like they're going to be about ready to fuse, Dawn forcibly resets the simulation, back to sort of the beginning of protagonist Saturday's timeline. This sounds more complicated than Steven Universe fusion lore. As much as I hate to admit that I know about Steven Universe, it is way more complicated than Steven Universe fusion lore. Well, it's more like every time you got to Tokyo, you looped back to Tanegashima and repeated that 8,266 times. And now we're going to Sapporo to finish things once and for all. I laughed. So much has changed. I don't know how to feel about it all, but things feel like they're starting to be right again, if that makes sense. How so? Well, for one, Storyteller and I being one again. Obviously, it would feel like I regained a part of myself because, well, I did, but it feels like I'm starting to see the world for what it truly is. Huh. I guess I can understand that. It's like the Matrix! It's like the pill analogy. Sure, staying in Wonderland would be great. You never have to face stuff head-on, so your life is way more consistent. Everything becomes the same, and you like that. The idea that I represent. Okay, Steven Universe is pretty good, but I hate to be associated with any sort of media with that kind of a fandom. And you know exactly what kind of a fandom I'm talking about. Every fandom has its toxic side, but there are certain ones that have much larger toxic sides than others. And on the other side of things, forcing yourself to charge into the ugly truths, putting yourself at so much more risk of harm for a greater sense of happiness. That's Dawn, the Liberator's idea. Yeah, and the thing I've come to realize is you kinda need both. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to face things as they come at you, that's how life is. And overcoming them will lead to an exponentially greater happiness than if you had just stayed in your comfort zone, unbothered. But you need to care about yourself, too. You need to know that it's okay to take time to heal, to take things at your own pace. And to know that the feeling of wanting to run away is part of you, and a part of you that just wants to help. Suki didn't say anything. When Storyteller was in contact with Layer 4 to execute her plan to break Lock S, she called it the VividStasis operation. And I think I figured out why. Mouse, for context, Layer 4 is us. Like, us interacting with the game client. We exist on Layer 4, and the whole story of the game, the whole simulation, exists as the game in our layer. Layer 3 is sort of where the plot takes place, is where most of the plot takes place. That's where each of these characters is experiencing their thing. Layer 2 is where Dawn and Suki can interact with the simulation to change things, but they can only intervene at certain key points. Layer 1 acts as the... Layer 1 acts as sort of a limbo in between the real world and the simulation. Storyteller was trapped there, not able to really do anything herself. She was just... all she could do was watch. And then Layer 0 is the sort of the real world within the context of the game. And that's where the real Saturday... That's where, like, Saturday's physical body is. Yeah? Why? I mean, think about it for a second. I'm not going to spell it out for you. Suki thought for a few minutes, and then a light bulb seemed to go off in her mind. Ah, I think I get it. The VividStasis operation wasn't just about breaking Log S, huh? I nodded. Yeah, it was about joining Vivid and Stasis, breaking the separation between them because you need both of them and both can represent either. Damn, that storyteller. She was on a whole other level. Hey, don't need to talk about her like she isn't here. She's inside now, and sometime soon you'll see her yourself, you know? You're right. Sorry, storyteller. I'm not bothered. Also, there's really no need to refer to us separately anymore. Fair enough. The drive continued for many hours. As the sun set behind the mountains, Chio pulled the car over to a rest stop that had a cafeteria, and we got out to stretch our legs and grab dinner. Oh, I can unlock songs. I'm gonna save the song unlocking for after I get all the story chapters. To be human, the group take a break at a rest stop to get something to eat. A bit after 10 p.m., Chio pulled the car over to allow us to stretch our legs and grab a bite to eat. We stopped at a moderately sized rest stop with a cafeteria that was open overnight. Ah! Allison stepped out of the car hurriedly. Huh? What happened? Are you okay, Sat? I stood up too fast. Allison sighed. We've been in the car for over 6 hours with minimal breaks. I'm surprised you didn't have to get out of the car at any point in that. I'm very resilient, I think. Evidently, your legs aren't. Chio walked out of the driver's side door and walked by us as she headed towards the entrance to the rest stop's building. Hey! Thanks for your input, Peanut Gallery. Chio and Allison laughed. I'll go find us a seat, okay? Take a second to let your legs adjust. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, love. Allison fidgeted a little, flustered, and walked off in the same direction as Chio. They're so damn cute. I was really happy when they finally got together, and oh my god, they're cute. They're, like, almost sickeningly cute. I sat back down on the edge of the car seat with the door open. A taller figure walked up next to me. Do you think they have salmon nigiri here? It's a convenience store rest stop, not a world-class restaurant. Suki sighed with a defeated look. I take just salmon or just nigiri, honestly. She walked into the rest stop, following Allison and Chio. I looked in the back seat behind me. Are they still asleep? Eri and Kotomi had fallen asleep a few hours into the ride, which surprised me. Surprised me even more when they didn't budge an inch when we started playing aggressive speedcore music with the sole intent of trying to wake them up. But they were frozen like they'd been turned to stone. I nudged Kotomi. Hey, rest stop. Here, now. Kotomi finally stirred a bit and opened her eyes. Yeah, okay, we'll be there in a sec. I chuckled a bit and stood up from the car. This time, my legs didn't crash into TV static immediately. I walked into the rest stop building. Didn't take me long to find the cafeteria, and even less time after that to find the table that Allison had found for us. She waved to me as I walked over. Hey, legs better? Legs serviceable. She laughed and I took a seat. Did you get a chance to see the kind of stuff they have here? Well, I did, but the thing is that even though the rest stop is open overnight, the kitchen isn't. Which makes sense, but it looks like it closed at 9 p.m. Oh, so there is nothing to eat. I mean, there's the convenience store built into the building. Seems that's our only option. Honestly, fair enough. Should I go get some stuff then? I'll come with. Okay. We both stood up and walked across the building interior to the convenience store. A few minutes later, we came back with not much other than a few bags of chips and a grape popsicle. Well, that was pointless. Not really. Have you tried that grape popsicle yet? Huh? I don't think I have. This thing is insane. Seriously. I don't know what they put in it. Allie, it's just a grape popsicle. Try it. Okay, I'll try it. Confused by her sudden energy, I unwrapped the popsicle and bit into it like a heathen. Well? Oh, holy shit. I told you! Wow. I told you! Well, I guess that teaches me. Wow, this is good. We both laughed and sat at the cafeteria for a bit, just eating the store-brand potato chips. After a while, Allison spoke up. Have I told you yet that your new outfit's insanely pretty? At least a dozen times. Well, it's 'cause it's true. I don't disagree, it just felt like the right time for a makeover, I guess? Honestly, I still don't know the full details of what happened at the graveyard. You've explained it to me, but it's just so much to wrap my head around, you know? Yeah, I don't blame you. It all feels like a dream still. But I guess these clothes are proof it wasn't because of her. Storyteller, huh? Yeah, it's a weird case. I have all of her memories now, so it's not like she's gone at all, but I don't know. It's tough. All of this is really complicated, and she understood a lot of it, so realistically I should too, but I still feel like there's so much I don't get. I guess she did have years to come to terms with it all and understand it, but sometimes I wish I could ask her more questions. I see. Sorry, I don't really think I understand what you're going through in exact detail, but I'm still here for you. I'll listen no matter what, okay? Yeah, I get you. Thanks. Of course. Yeah, I guess I can't really falter here. I have a job to finish. A job she started with you. I promised her I'd take the reins, so I'll do just that, no matter what. Oh! She's interacting with us directly now, like us the player directly now. Before that it was only Storyteller, and it was never really direct, it was through notes and stuff that she left in the game. By the way, did I tell you? Wait, no, that's Saturday. Saturday's my usual voice. By the way, did I tell you? I actually got Suki to agree to spend some time with us during our arcade trip when we get to Sapporo. Yo, no way! Damn, she's really opening up, huh? Yeah, it's surreal to see, but I'm glad to see it nonetheless. Yeah, Saturday? Can I ask you maybe something a little tough? You know you can. What's up? Allison's gaze lowered a bit. Has it not been hard for you, being around her, when you know that her name and appearance aren't, you know? I sat back in the seat of the cheap cafeteria table we were at. At first, yeah. I didn't have that problem with Dawn because her appearance, name, etc. was entirely formed and created by my own mind during the severance of emotion. But Suki is, well, was my sister's name. It took a bit to adjust to that because the Suki we know right now is not her. It's not. I mean, even further than that, she's a part of you, isn't she? Sure, but I don't think it makes a difference. Does it not? Not currently. She will be a part of me, definitely. It's required for us to leave the Duskbreaker that we join. I think that's a typo. Same with Dawn. But right now, she isn't me, right? She's her own person, fueled by her own humanity, with her own feelings, opinions, and experiences. I think that individuality is enough to separate us, at least while we're like this. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's an oddly you way of looking at it, I think. I let out a teasing laugh. Huh, hey, what's that supposed to mean? Well, it's just, you know, you've changed a lot these past... Well, I guess months wouldn't be accurate since it's looped so many times. No, I think that's accurate. As far as I, as myself, am concerned, my memories only contain that of this cycle, the 8,266th. Even if I have Storyteller's memories, I'm still me, I think. I guess that's fair. Honestly, I'm so confused about this whole cycle thing. You said you've been through millions of cycles, but we're still on 8,266? I just can't wrap my head around it. I don't blame you, and honestly, you don't need to worry about it. It would take a lot of time to explain in detail, and I'd rather save that for once we're out of this mess for good, you know? Fair enough, but as I was saying, you've changed so much these past months. But not in a way that feels that different, I guess. To put it simply, I can definitely tell that the Saturday from July 2022 and the Saturday in front of me right now are still the same person. I'm really glad. I've kind of worried about that, to be honest. Really? How come? At first, I was really ashamed by the way I acted. Especially in those few months where my leg was injured and I just had to sit in our home in Kagoshima with just doing nothing. I mean, you were there for it. There were a lot of moments where I blamed myself for way more than I should have. Yeah. So when we flew out to Tokyo, I was like, this is a fresh start for Saturday Tasagare. Untethered by her past mistakes. And that ended up screwing me over so badly once I actually realized what was going on with our lives and the world and everything. That's fair, yeah. It's like, when you really fuck up and make a mistake, you can't just put it all behind you, you know? Otherwise, you don't really learn from it at all. As human beings, we are our experiences and our memories, and you can't really try to throw any of them away just because they aren't something you do anymore. We gotta keep our mistakes close to us so that we can learn from them, and so we can come to terms with the fact that both the person that made the mistake in the first place and the person we are now are still the same person. Allison smiled. You're such a sentimental dork, you know that? Yeah, I am, and I'm finally, happy with who I am. Feels like I've finally come alive, in a sense. Even before the Duskbreaker, I was really unsure about a lot of things in my life. Kind of felt like I was just an amalgamation of the people and the things I liked that surrounded me. More of a jumble of concepts than my own person, I guess. I definitely know that feeling. I'm still working on that myself. Yeah, and the thing is, I know you'll get there. Everybody can. And being with the people who you know are there for you every step of the way will make that so much easier. I believe you. Thanks, Saturday. Right back at you, cutie. I stood up. I'm gonna head outside. Take in some more fresh air before we're back on the road. Sounds good. I'll meet you at the car then. Gotcha. Honestly, Allison is such a mood, because that's my exact reaction every time someone flirts with me. It's just, huh? And then my brain shuts down. I walked out of the rest stop area. As I walked outside, I spotted a familiar dress flowing off the bench to the right of the door. Oh, hey. Suki looked over at me. What you up to? Just thinking. I sat down on the bench next to her. What about? Humanity. Ah. Suki looked up at the night sky. I never really noticed all the stars in the sky, you know? There are a lot of them. Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. Well, I guess it's more like it's surreal feeling. Yeah, I can kind of imagine. So much of my existence as the World Keeper up until now has been spent lacking that. Filtering out anything that wasn't important to my purpose. I'm trying to give each of them a distinct voice without completely killing my voice, and it is not working. Saturday is, way down here, and I'm trying to make Suki sort of in the middle between where I have Saturday and where I have Allison, but it's just not. It's not doing it. It was really that I never got the chance to see the stars in the sky, but I wasn't... I pressed the enter button on accident before I finished reading. It does, yeah. But now, spending time on Layer 0, I'm a lot more prone to, emotions. All of them. It's a big adjustment. I guess it's a big adjustment to even have to adjust in the first place. Do you ever regret it? Being down here, I mean. Hell no, not one bit. I'd take the inherent complexity of being a human over being a lifeless husk trying to keep you trapped in this simulation any day of the week. It was miserable. Well, it wasn't miserable to me, but looking back, I can tell that if I was capable of feeling during all that, I would have found it miserable. I'm glad to hear that. We sat for a few minutes, watching the night sky and the countless dots that illuminated it. You know, I've been wondering about something. Wonder away. Why are you so nice to me? Why is it so easy for you to accept who I am? What I did? Why I look like this? I'm not your sister, and yet... Yeah, you're right. You aren't my sister. I think that's why I found it easier than you might think. I think that in some alternate universe, if you were instead my sister somehow brought back to life, it would be a lot harder to come to terms with. Impossible, maybe. But you aren't her. You're me. And I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but I think I know myself pretty well at this point. Ah. You're Suki Tasagare, sure. Even in this fabricated history, you're my sister. But you're not the same Suki Tasagare that was my sister in the real world. Honestly, the two of you are nothing alike. Really? I laughed a little. Yeah. For one, that outfit is so me. She was always super casual. She would never wear anything like that. That's your example? Looks are important. To me, at least. Mainly my own look. Suki laughed a little. The two of us looked back up at the stars again. I'm really glad we can finally be proud of who we are. Yeah, I am too. You know, I was thinking about something else. Something more relevant to our current situation. And what's that? Suki's expression stiffened. The idea to use my humanity as a weapon? Well, that's one hell of a place to end a story chapter, alright. How many of these are there? Okay, so there are 4 left. Hopefully they're not all as long as that one was. The Northern City. The group arrive in Sapporo and Saturday talks to Chio. Is it bad that I'm kind of impatient for the puzzles? Like, the puzzles are one of my favorite parts of this game. Genuinely. It was close to midnight when we finally pulled into the hotel we had a reservation for in Sapporo. We stepped out of the car right outside the front entrance, and Chio went to pull it into the underground parking. Hotel, sweet hotel. You ever think about how with all the cycles you subjected us to that bit over 10,000 times? Damn, okay, I see how it is. Well, I didn't mean it like that. Ari and I laughed. I do not have a distinguishable voice for Ari. I don't. Ari and I laughed. Kotomi finished picking a drink at the vending machine on the street corner and walked over to us. This apple drink is nuts, dude. Yeah. Kotomi held up a small plastic bottle with a cute little apple mascot on it. I can get being impatient for the fireworks factory. The puzzles are the best part, genuinely. Shit's good. I believe you, I believe you. Just then, Chio's figure walked around the bend at the edge of the street block. Got us all checked in. Here, Saturday and Ari, I'll give you 2 these. She walked up to me and handed me a hotel room card. Oh, thanks. I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't want to give out keys for each of us. We had been grouped into 3 groups of 2. Ali and I shared a room, Ari and Kotomi shared a room, and Chio and Suki shared a room. We took our room cards and walked through the front entrance of the hotel into the lobby. Later that night, I ended up taking a walk down to the dining hall before heading up for the night. Flaming hot mountain view. Flaming Hot Mountain View. They didn't have Flaming Hot Mountain View. God damn it. Ah, well. I ended up taking a basic soda and brought it to the checkout. Then I spotted a familiar figure at one of the tables. Oh, hey Chio. I took a seat across from her. She looked up at me, surprised for a moment that I was still up. Hey, still up, huh? Just grabbing a drink. How about you? You're usually asleep way earlier. Yeah, true. Just thinking about a lot of stuff, so I didn't want to retire for the night just yet in case it carried over into my dreams. Want to talk about it? We have more important things on the go right now. Sure, but that isn't an excuse to push your feelings aside. What's going on? Well, it's just, I'm nervous about what happens once we get out of here. In a lot of ways, but specifically, like, how it pertains to me and my involvement in all of this. That's entirely fair, yeah. Even if legally I end up punished, I'm really more worried about you guys. We're working together right now, but once we're out of here, what I am to you is someone who got you wrapped up in all of this in the first place. Chio. It's just stressful, and when I hope or pray that things will just be easy, it feels like I'm dodging the responsibility of what I've done. It just feels suffocating. Hey, Chio. Why did you join the Sunrise Foundation in the first place? Chio seemed confused as to where this was coming from. Well, there was the aspect of it where I had known your dad for a really long time. I've also been meaning to ask how you two even came to meet. Oh gosh, I don't even know if I remember. Well, I'm 25 now, so I would have been 20 when we met. He had just entered the big business world, and I was looking into it myself. We hit it off because we were both dissatisfied with the current state of mental health treatment in Japan. So that's why I joined the Sunrise Foundation when he founded it. Huh, well then, I don't think it's an issue. Huh? Why not? You wanted to help. That's why you joined the foundation. That's why you built the desk breaker. That's all that really matters to me. You think so? I don't know if I'm deserving of that. Legally, the situation might be, complicated once we're out of here. I've pressed enter before I could finish reading again. Saturday. So don't fret it, okay? Honestly, you're the bravest 19-year-old I've ever seen. Though I guess the situation that bred that bravery isn't exactly something most teens experience. I laughed. That's true, and there's also the fact that I'm technically 21 because Storyteller was. Huh. I didn't actually put that together. Fair enough then, you're the bravest 21-year-old I've ever seen. I'm flattered. We laughed, and I took a drink from the soda bottle I'd bought. You know, in a way I kinda lament it. Lament what? Leaving this world behind. Really? Sure, I mean, this is a world designed with the express purpose of giving us a happier life than the one that might exist for us on the outside. It's sad to leave it behind, in a way. Yeah, that's true. I guess I've found myself empathizing with Suki more as time goes on. Not that it'll change my decision. I know that leaving this simulation is what we have to do, but I still do lament it a bit sometimes. I don't blame you. It's a very accurate simulation, after all. Huh, patting yourself on the back there? Chio laughed. Hardly. I was the hardware engineer for this thing. My involvement was making sure this thing had the stupidly high amount of memory it needed. Huh. Fair. Though in some cycles I swear I remember it being flipped that you were the software engineer. Cycle differences, huh? They're certainly strange. She took out her wallet and looked at her driver's license. Weird to think that I just don't have this in some cycles. How did we even get out to the Okawachi Shrine if I didn't drive us there? There were a few different ways. Sometimes there just so happened to be a bus running. Probably Dawn's doing. Other times we biked. All the way. Those cycles were not fun. Doesn't sound like they would be. Guess it's handy that the simulation covers Japan. famous for its public transport. True. I took another drink from my soda bottle. But yeah, seriously, don't worry about it. We'll stick together, I promise. Okay? Thank you, Saturday. That means a lot. Of course! I felt a vibration in my pocket and took out my phone to see a new text message. Saturday, where are you? I need thee. Coming. Couldn't help myself grunting like an idiot. Chio gave me a teasing glare. You'd best get some rest. Or whatever it is you two do when the lights go out. I blushed a little. Hey, shh, that ain't none of your business. Yeah, I know. Go on. Good night, Chio. Sleep well, Saturday, and thanks again. Mm-hmm. I walked out of the cafeteria and rode the elevator back up to my room. Axis flung sisters. Saturday spent some time with the sisters. The next morning, I found myself awake at the midpoint between 10 and 11. Allison was still asleep, so I tiptoed out of the room and took the elevator down to the dining area. Walking into the dining hall, it seemed they were just finishing up serving breakfast. Ooh, made it in the nick of time. Just like last night, I spotted a silhouette I recognized sitting at one of the tables. Well, two silhouettes, technically. Oh, it's Ari and Kotomi. I grabbed my breakfast before they finished closing up and walked over to where the Nichibotsus were sitting. God, that's difficult to say. Morning. Oh, hey, Sat. You're up earlier than you usually are. Well, I feel if we're trying to save the world, I should at least try to keep a normal sleep schedule for now. Especially after getting yelled at about it yesterday. Fair enough. Take a seat, yeah? Sure. I put my tray down on the table and sat down on the bench next to Ari. Saving the world, huh? I wonder if that's what we're really doing. What do you mean? I mean, we're not saving this world at all, are we? We're dooming it to being shut down. I've been thinking about that. That's true, but it's not like this world is real, Air. Nobody here other than us is a real person. Logically, that's true, but I can't help feeling bad about it. No, I understand. I was talking about this with Chio last night. I mean, we all know what we need to do. We need to get out of here. That's the first and foremost thing. But it's also kinda sad to be leaving a world designed to keep us happy. Yeah. Now that we've seen the world for what it is, we can't see it as real anymore. It was easier back when we were unaware, because we didn't have any reason to observe the logical imperfections of this world as the technological drawbacks that they are. Yeah, and I kinda lament that, especially when we consider that Ari and I's role in your guys' lives was fabricated even more than anyone else's. I was confused. What do you mean? We got some of our memories back. Oh, shit. The big thing, I think, was realizing that the Layer 3... Oh, I got the layers reversed. Okay, so this is taking place on Layer 0. Layer 3 is the real world in the context of the game. Okay, there's a lot of information to keep track of when it comes to this game. The Layer 3 that you, Allison, and Chio lived in before entering here, and the Layer 3 that Kotomi and I existed in before entering here aren't the same. Huh? I don't quite follow. I'm surprised. You've talked about it a fair amount of times before, the many worlds interpretation. Huh. So wait, you guys aren't from the same world as the rest of us? They aren't? Yeah, the exact details of why or how we ended up here we can't quite make out, but we can say that much for certain. Wow. That's kinda surreal to think about, that you and I never knew each other before entering the Dustbreaker. Don't get me wrong, Ari and I don't plan to just ditch you guys the first chance we get. I don't think we can even do that. That shutdown sequence thingy is probably gonna pop us up in your original world. Come on. Wait, but how would that make sense? You two don't have bodies to return to in our world. That's another thing. We've come to realize that we aren't like you guys in that sense. Oh wait, does this thing do my favorite visual novel trope? As Schrodinger's cat been explained, brought up? Well, I'm aware of the concept. It hasn't been brought up explicitly in relation to the term, but it's sort of, Suki and Dawn and I guess Protag Saturday as well are all sort of examples of that, in that they're alive in the context of their real thinking people within the simulation, but they're not alive in the fact that they don't have physical bodies to correspond to in the real world. They're all split parts of Saturday. None of them even have the memories of what happened in the real world. They're all sort of creations of the simulation in that way. It's brought up in every single visual novel for some reason. I mean, I think it's a cool concept in that, and I can get how it would be relevant to a lot of visual novel plots, especially visual novels that make use of the sort of meta nature of the genre. Your minds were brought into this world and bodies simulated as a result of that, and the bodies you inhabit will disappear when you go back into your real ones. At least, I assume. See? There we are. There's the whole, like... But we aren't like that. These are our original bodies. So were they created by the simulation? I am a little lost here. Huh? What? How? Saturday, if we knew that, we would have told you. We're still piecing things together. Are you sure you'll even be able to get out of here when we shut down the world? I don't want you two getting trapped in here. I guess this is as good a time as any then. What do you mean? To ask you a favor. I was confused. And that would be? For you to use the power of the fourth dimension to send our bodies up a layer. To use the fourth dimension? I didn't know if it was possible, but if anyone could do it, it would have to be you. Me. I don't know if I can promise that. Whenever she's talking in the blue text, she's talking directly. Just funny, because every time it's explained, they start with, have you heard of Schrodinger's cat? And yes, I have. I have read way too many sci-fi novels for the concept to be unfamiliar to me, but yeah, I get your point. It does happen a lot. I don't know if I can promise that. My connection to the fourth dimension has been right only ever since the graveyard incident. I can speak to the fourth dimension through the narration in the TVO client. That's the game client. But it takes time to be sent up, so I can't hold a consistent conversation or use any of the power. That's okay. Just... if you do gain the ability to access the fourth dimension again? I mean, if I can, then of course I will. Nobody's getting left behind if I can help it. Thanks, Saturday. That's really all we can ask for. I took a hearty bite of my breakfast that was already starting to get a little cold. So, do you know what you're gonna do when you get out of here? Find our sister. A way to contact our sister. Huh? Your sister? There's another one of you? Yeah, Kanshi Nichibotsu. Our memories of her were struck from the record when we entered the simulated world, but in getting them back, we were able to remember her. Huh. I had no idea. Kanshi, huh? I don't know why, but I feel like everything is connected to her. Oh, okay. So, this game is, in theory, part of a larger universe. I believe there are 3 other games, but this is the only one that's been published right now. The other 2 are still in works in progress. Although I think Heart Lodged, which is I think the next game in this trilogy, is meant to release early 2025. So I probably will play that when that happens. So my guess is this would be the larger world connection here. I don't think this is particularly relevant to the story of VividStasis in and of itself, but I think this is likely relevant to the larger world. That's wild. I wonder what she's like. Me do too. I mean, I'll help you look into it, obviously. You sure? You deserve to take a break after you get out of here Saturday. Please don't immediately jump into something else. Oh, it's no problem, I promise. I want to help. It's appreciated. I finished off what was on my breakfast tray and sat back. In more current matters, are you guys joining us tonight? For your excursion to Cape Soya? I thought you wanted it to be just you, Chio, and Suki. No, not that. I'm dragging Suki out to the arcade. Oh god. Hey, it's gonna be a blast. None of that. Regardless, Allison and I were already planning to go to a night market. Why don't you guys just go afterwards? We can group up at the arcade, and once we're done, we can all go to the market. Oh, I like that idea. Fine by me, but don't expect me to be a huge arcade junkie. Bet. I have been the Saturday in this situation and dragging friends to arcades with me, and they end up playing more games than I do, because I mostly just play the rhythm games. Don't give me that look. Around 8-ish, I think. Suki, Chio, and I need to leave an hour before midnight. That should be enough time to allow us to do both the arcade and the night market, yeah? The night market closes at 11, so that works out pretty well. Sounds like a plan. Ah, right. I'm gonna head back to my room and see if Allie is up yet. I'll let her know about the plan, yeah? Sounds good. We were just about to head out for a walk anyway. Okay, have fun. See you guys later tonight. I walked over to where the dirty breakfast trays were slotted in and slid mine into the holder, then walked over to the elevator and rode it back up to the room. Kanshi Nichibotsu, huh? Okay, second to last story episode. We should be hitting the puzzles any minute now. The group enjoy a night out before beginning the operation. Okay. Later that night, the 5 of us had arrived at the arcade. I like that Allison is like half blocked by Suki's big-ass hat. Chio had stayed behind at the hotel to prepare for a journey to Cape Soya later that night. Suki, are you ready to have your world rocked? No. Don't you think you're hyping her up a little bit Saturday? No. Oh, God. The arcade building we ended up choosing was a giga building with 5 floors. Oh my god, a 5-floor arcade. That sounds like a dream come true. A 5-floor arcade. Genuinely. Maybe I do need to go to Japan someday. It was open for another 2 hours. The streets of Sapporo were crowded as snow fell down as we walked along. Being in the north of the country, it was naturally very snowy during this time of year, and there were lots of snow-related festivals to accommodate that. Maybe it's a good thing Chio isn't here. Does she have, like, any heavier outfits? I've never seen any. Me neither. Nope. Damn. Living down in Tokyo for most of my life, we got a bit of snow, but never anything like what you see in the north, and I definitely hadn't seen much at all in my time in Tanegashima in the simulated world. So I was enjoying the weather. Oh, I love the snow. I adore winter. Like, I am built for snowy climates, personally. Like, I know that there are some people out there who are, like, built for the desert. I am built for the snow. Finally, we arrived out front of the huge building and walked inside. Then again, I guess a bear wouldn't make much sense in the desert, so... Closest thing to an arcade I've been to is Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's counts as an arcade, although it's not like a... It's not a huge arcade like the ones you see other places. There is around one about... Well... So I'm back in my hometown for the holidays up until shortly after... Or up until, I think, like, mid-January? And so there is around one about half an hour from here with some nice games, and they had the HoloLive plushies a while back. Oh, I did manage to get myself a HoloLive plushie, which I was really happy about, although I'm still missing one. So, are y'all familiar with HoloLive at all? Mouse, if Mouse is still here, I know he's familiar with HoloLive. I don't know if you are televised. Immediately once we stepped inside, Eri covered her ears. I had forgotten to warn her about the noise levels inside arcades. Oh, Jesus. Suki looked behind her, seemingly glaring at the exit door longingly, but I wasn't gonna let her get away that easy. Nope, nuh-uh, no, you're not going anywhere. Suki sighed. I walked over to the sign on the wall that listed the various themes of the floors. Do you want to start with fighting games or rhythm games? Rhythm games. Rhythm games. I don't want to start with either. Allie, what do you think? Is she an FG girl or an RG girl? Definitely fighting games, I think. She has the scythe and everything. I can't believe my hollow weapon of choice is being used against me like this. Fighting games it is. They're on the 3rd floor. Let's get a move on. I skipped up the stairs excitedly. Kotami and Allie following closely behind, and Eri and Suki slumped down at the back, exasperated. Okay, so, I mean, you know what a joystick does, right? I'm not that stupid. Yeah, so it's like that. Basically, you want to chain a bunch of button inputs together to do combos and drain the other player's health bar. Seems reasonable enough. Can I go up against you? I gulped. Are you sure? I'm pretty good. I don't want you to have a bad first-time experience, so, like, 5 minutes later. I love their expressions. What the fuck? Did I do it right? I looked back at the screen. It showed the round score in the best of 5 format we picked. The scoreboard read 3-0 for Suki. I think I have uncovered a newfound fear of my own capabilities in fighting games. I guess you'd better hope it gets transferred to you in the merge then. Huh? Suki looked confused. Huh? What did I say? Oh, nothing. I just don't think you've acted smug like that before. You love Hololive. Okay, so round 1 has Hololive plushies right now, like Hololive plushies in the Crane games. And so my Hololive Oshis are Suisei and Fuamoko. And so there's no Suisei plush, which I was slightly depressed about. But there are Fuamoko plushies. So I managed to get a... I watch Fauna a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a little rough. That's a little rough. Although she's been active on her indie account. Well, the talent behind Fauna. I don't really know if it's right to still call her Fauna, but she's been active a little bit more on her indie account. So hopefully we'll see her again there. I've never like really been a super dedicated Fauna fan, I've mostly watched her through her interactions with the rest of Hololive and her interactions with the rest of, they're not council anymore, they're Promise now. But, yeah. Anyway, they've got Fuamoko plushies, but they've got an individual plushie for each of them. So I managed to get a Mokoko plushie. I have not managed to get a Fuoa plushie yet. And so I'm still trying to get a Fuoa plushie. While I'm down here and I'm still relatively close to the arcade. I see. Allison moved closer to me and whispered in my ear. Did you know this would happen? No! I didn't know she would regain some humanity by playing fighting games. Oh my god. Okay, again, you were going easy on me. Give me everything you've got. Okay. I wasn't even going easy on you. We played again. This time everything changed. I actually only lost 3-1 this time. Jesus Christ. Damn, wait, this is kind of fun. I'm glad you're having fun. After a few more matches, I felt Eri tap on my shoulder. Hey, what's up? Do you need to go outside? Sorry, I forgot to warn you about the noising. Put me in. Put me in, coach. What? Put me against her. Huh? Sure, come on up. The scene that followed could be described akin to a complete reversal of everything Suki had gained in the past month. It was only painful to watch. Suki abides by the international no Johns policy. No, you bastard! She was getting thoroughly and utterly demolished in every aspect. Eri's transformation was borderline horrifying. I had never seen someone's hands move and press buttons as fast as she did, and I've played a lot of rhythm games. Eri Nichivotsu. At one point, Suki actually tried to summon her scythe, which, of course, did not work. Despite it all, though, it was kind of endearing, in a way. Seeing her fall to base human instincts like this really did prove that she was more human than she used to be. I am really bad at fighting games, so I can sort of relate to the... Which is weird because well, I don't really know if I can say I'm good at rhythm games because I'm nowhere near some of the top players out there, but I'm decent at rhythm games. I can usually play the hardest difficulty on most games. I can't even touch the hardest difficulty on this game, but I can usually play the hardest difficulty on most rhythm games I've encountered. But I'm not like some of those really insane players out there. But either way, I'm bad at fighting games. Like, I can't remember the combos. The only person I can beat in Smash is my little sister, which says a lot. Okay, that's enough, you two. We've got the whole rhythm game floor to get through, too. Suki glared at Eri, who seemed unusually smug. As someone who really digs fighting games, Scrublord Suki is killing me. That's fair. I'm just laughing at Eri, who has apparently never been to an arcade before, just coming in and killing it. Like, this is not over. Sure thing. Suki made an uncharacteristic hissing noise, and we stepped back into the stairwell to go up a floor. The next floor up was lined with multiple cabinets of various different kinds of rhythm games. This is where I'm out of my element. Okay, which one do you want to... Oh, holy shit! Allison looked at me inquisitively, following my gaze, which landed on a small multi-game installation. Is that a Noises Arc Capo cabinet? I've been looking for a place that has one of these for ages. Oh, that was me when I finally found an arcade that had a Waka cabinet. Is that uncommon? It is. AC cabinets are expensive to acquire due to their exclusivity to the 6 minutes later. So, basically, yeah, it's a little uncommon. Eri just info-dumping on video games in any format, but Eri info-dumping on rhythm games for 6 straight minutes is such a mood. So basically, yeah, it's a little uncommon. Everyone had already long stopped listening except for Suki and I. Okay, no, we're here for Suki. I can play Noises AC later. So which one do you want to do first? Suki looked around, surveying each of the vastly different machines. That one. She pointed to a dance game. Oh god. Okay, the one rhythm game I know I can't play. I am just clumsy as all hell. I try to play any sort of dance game and I'm just tripping over my own feet. If you give me a keyboard or like a gamepad type controller, I can do it that way. But if I am expected to do it with my legs, it does not work. Are you sure? I'm very not good at dance games. It seems the most fun to try. I sighed. Alright, come on. We stepped up to the flashy cabinet and I scanned in my password. Suki didn't have one, so she just played on a guest profile. There is a guy I'm subscribed to on YouTube who does like DDR, and he's been playing Rift of the Necrodancer. Well, the Rift of the Necrodancer demo. The actual game doesn't come out till February. But the Rift of the Necrodancer demo on a DDR dance pad, and I am just amazed. We stepped up to the flashy cabinet and I scanned in my pass card. Suki didn't have one, so he just played on a guest profile. It was a nice change of pace, actually. Suki was still way better than I expected someone who hadn't played the game to be, but not at the level that I couldn't match her. We've played a few credits and finally left the arcade. After we stepped out of the arcade, I turned to Eri. So, where's the night market? Eri pulled out her phone and pointed to a location on the map system. We started walking up and down the street to the transit station when Kotomi spoke up. Hey, why don't we all take a picture? We don't have one with Suki yet, do we? What? Oh, true! Hold on. Okay, everyone group up over here. Took out my phone and set it up on a bench across from where we were and hit the button to take a time picture. Wait, shit, I thought it was on 5 seconds! 2 seconds later, the photo was taken. I picked up my phone and opened the gallery. Only game I'm good at a given arcade is the big piano one. It's the easiest way to get tickets. Oh my god, Saturday, you look horrified. I'm usually pretty solid at the rhythm games. I'm not getting top of the high score list or anything, but I'm usually pretty good at rhythm games. I'm decent at shooters. Although I'm not a huge fan of the shooters, but I'm decent at the shooting gallery type stuff. The ticket games, I'm very, like, the ticket games, the ones that are designed to get you tickets, I am very not good at. Like, I know they're rigged, but at the same time, I feel like I always get the lowest score. Oh, Suki looks so cute with her big-ass hat. Allison, Saturday. Saturday does look horrified. Ari and Kotami, everyone looks so cute. Oh, hydrate. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Rainer, and hi. I didn't know it was on 2-second mode. Shut up. I once filled 2/3 of a high scoreboard for the piano one, but couldn't break top score. Yeah, I'm the same. There are certain games and certain songs where I can usually make it onto the high score chart, but I am not breaking the high score. No way. Huh. I'm not used to seeing myself. You have a nice smile, Suki. Yeah, much nicer than what Saturday has going on here. Shut up! Oh my god! I am the world's most tortured girl! Everyone laughed, and for a moment all our worries seemed to fade away. In the middle of this dying world, we found life. We were alive. This was how things were meant to be. Now all that's left is to finish what was left for us to do. Okay, last story. Here's where we get to the puzzles. As we drove under the night sky, I felt something rest on my shoulder. Ah, Suki's asleep. I don't know if she or Dawn needed to sleep before their time on Layer 0, but regardless, she was evidently tired. She definitely needed that rest for what was coming. How are you feeling, Saturday? About as ready as I can be. I don't think there's any universe where this isn't scary. Yeah, I'm glad you're hanging in there at least. We were headed to Cape Soya, the northernmost part of Japan. Due to how the Duskbreaker simulates time of day, there is a brief moment in the turnover between days where the simulation processing is slightly weakened. We intend to use that to our advantage to backdoor the system to the best of our ability. I looked at my phone. It was 11:57 p.m. Just then, Chio stopped the car. We're here. Ready? Yeah. Hey, Suki, up and at 'em. Suki's eyes fluttered open, and she sat up quickly, seemingly embarrassed. What, huh? Her eyes adjusted to the light, and she understood. Ah, right. Okay, let's go. We stepped out of the car. Despite the importance of the location, Cape Soya wasn't very extravagant. It housed a simple stone monument listing its status as the northernmost point, and a small number of tourist attractions around it. We stepped up to the monument and waited. It was 10 seconds to midnight. Suki and I steeled ourselves, ready to jump on anything that seemed odd at the turnover to midnight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There. At the turnover to midnight, a piece of the stone that made up the monument began to twitch and glitch out. I rushed forward and tugged at it. A piece of the geometry gave way, and I peered inside. That's another translation error, I think. Or just a lack of proofreading. From above, I could see the inside of the room that the storyteller and I had stood in before the merge process. It was the Duskbreaker's core. I pushed my head through the seam in the world and pulled on a piece of the world, pulling it out and into the simulated layer. Is that? It's a remote piece of the Duskbreaker's core. Looks like it lets us remotely access the terminal. Oh my god, we did it? Hold on, something about this isn't... Before she could finish speaking, however, all three of us heard a clicking sound. It was a familiar clicking sound. When I'd first heard, many months ago in the Okawachi Shrine, that I'd heard over 1 million times since then. The clicking of a gun. And what, might I ask, do we have here? The three of us turned around in shock, though we shouldn't have really been surprised. Of course it wouldn't be that easy. Just a few feet away from the monument stood a tall, familiar figure. The Liberator. Trying to backdoor your own creation, aren't we, Chio? I thought you had more respect for your own work than to hack into it just like that. Chio grit her teeth. Lives are at stake here, Dawn. We're doing what we have to do. What you have to do? That sounds a little weird to me. What you had to do was enjoy the rest of your days peacefully and wait for me to come to you on the turn of the new year. What are you talking about? What's happening in the new year? Huh. I was not expecting this to be particularly relevant to today, but... Dawn laughed, an emotionless laugh, or so it seemed. Fine, I'll humor you. You already threw away the chance at peace I gave you by coming out here to pull such a ridiculous stunt in the first place. Cut the villain act and just get to the point, Liberator. And of course, if it isn't our very own traitor, what a crowd we've got tonight. I hope all the folks watching from your precious little TVO client are entertained, because I sure as hell am. Suki tensed up, as if getting ready to attack. I held her back. She was clearly trying to provoke us. At the turn of the new year, I've prepared my own little escape rope just for you. The ultimation. No, you set up the fucking... What the hell are you doing? Of course you would know what it is. Wouldn't you? How does it feel, World Keeper? I'm finally putting your precious little backup plan into motion. Keeping myself as composed as I could, I turned to Suki. Suki, what's the ultimation? Ugh, it was a backup plan. A backup plan that I prepared during the initial events of the Severance of Emotion. A program that corrupts the sim layer entirely. What? Why the hell did you... I don't know. I can't figure out why I did half the things I did, okay? I'm sorry. And you. Are you insane? I thought your MO was to save Saturday without me. What the hell is corrupting the sim layer supposed to do to help that? Dawn laughed again. Because it doesn't give you a choice. What? Dawn looked up at the sky. In just 10 days, everything here will be reduced to nothing. I do have Saturday's best interest in mind, and there's only one casualty I was aiming for. Yours. If you had just stayed put in Tokyo, or Sapporo, or wherever, you would have been able to live the last few weeks in peace. And then everything would end, and I would come for all of you, to save you. Saving Allison, Chio, Saturday, and those two hapless world-crossing sisters. You would have been saved, and Suki would have been left to rot down here as everything crumbled to dust around her. That was what I wanted. That's insane. That's fucking insane. What the hell? And yet, here you are. She lowered her hand that had her gun in it. I don't want any harm to come to any of you other than her. Don't make this any harder than it has to be. For your own sakes. A ripple of silence echoed across the night sky and into the waves behind us. No. Dawn seemed genuinely surprised to hear that answer. Huh. No. Oh, hi, Kenny. No. I decline. Decline? How so? I reject your offer. We're all leaving here together. None of us are being left behind. Dawn looked down. I have 15 minutes of 2024 left. Oh, Happy New Year! I still have, I think, 4 hours. Well, a little bit over 4 hours. Dawn looked down. Whatever expression she wore, I couldn't make it out. So be it. She snapped her fingers, and suddenly, loud rumbling surrounded us. On either side of Dawn, a large grid of fissures opened up in the air behind her, and from each one, a cannon protruded, all aimed at the monument. Dawn looked back at us, back to her normal self. Then we'll dance your way, Saturday Tasagare. With a maniacal laugh, she rose into the sky, hovering above us, surrounded by cannons on both sides. There had to have been over 100 of them by now. And what do you plan to do against this? It's looking pretty grim for your chances right now, I must say. I won't be shot. Say it again? I couldn't quite hear you from up here. You won't shoot me. Hilarious! And what makes you so sure of that? I'm just dying to know. Your ultimation. It's charging up, isn't it? There's no avoiding it. Sure. What's your point, girl? I couldn't stop myself from getting a little smug. If it's charging on layer 1, and you're aligned with layer 1, you can't reset the cycle. It would require you to restart the charging process. And as a result, you can't hurt me. You'd be stuck down here as the world corrupts. Therefore, you won't shoot me. Or more specifically, you can't shoot me. Oh damn, I guess you've got me. Not. Do you really think this is what that's what this is all about, Saturday? Maybe you're still just as dense as you are at the start of every cycle. I clenched my fist. Then go on. What are you planning to do? Lay it all out on the table and we'll give you a fair fight. You're right, that I can't harm you. Or Chio. Even if I could, I wouldn't. But she is a different story now, isn't she? I realized what Dawn was getting at, and my composure broke in an instant. Or so it seemed. No! You bastard, you wouldn't. Oh, but I would. And I think in fact I will. What a shame. Okay, so that's what she's after. I'm gonna need your help here then. Dawn raised her pistol and aimed it squarely at Suki. Okay. Oh, wait, no, this is still Saturday talking. Okay, listen. I'm gonna need you to follow some very specific instructions here, alright? I said it once before, and I have no qualms with saying it again. Good night, Saturday Tasagare. Dawn fired her gun, and a bullet erupted from it. There was no way Suki was going to be able to move in time. Suki, no! Okay, please restart the TVO client now. Okay, I don't know if I need to restart it or not. Oh, shit, well. When she said follow some very specific instructions, I didn't think it would be that fast. Oh shit. Rhythm game. I have the story chart set to easy. Why is this the easy? I can't even read this. The hell is this chart? Oh.
You and I have torn this world asunder and put it back together countless times by now. We have broken the rules of the world. The entire world axis just by being here.
Whoa.
The you that she and I refer to are not the same. Truly realize this too.
I can't read this. How am I supposed to... Ah! Sorry, y'all can probably hear my keyboard right now. Really fast.
In a minute, you'll be brought back to the world you know. You know what you need to do now, right?
No.
Lock onto your prey and drive it in. Make her story complete.
I don't know what I need to do.
I know you will not disappoint me.
I don't know what to do. Sometimes cool things in fighting games happen and I go, oh man, fighting games. Sometimes I see a complex song chart in a rhythm game and go, rhythm games. gunshot, an impact, the sound of splattering blood. I don't know what I need to do. But nobody could see any of it. It wasn't that it never existed. It did, but now it didn't. I opened my eyes, and the first thing I saw was shock. What? Huh? I'm not... What? Dawn hit the ground with a shockwave. What did you do? I could see her frantically double-checking that the cycle count hadn't changed, which it hadn't. Saturday, I swear to fucking God, if you don't tell me right... You're not as smart as you think you are, you know that? Dawn stepped back, shocked. What are you talking about? If you hadn't noticed what I've been up to the whole time, I mean... Cut the small talk, girl. Tell me now. She pointed her pistol at me. Seems like any reservation she had about putting me in harm's way had vanished. Back when we fought at the graveyard and I became one with Storyteller. What the fuck is Storyteller? What the hell are you even going on about? Oh, she doesn't know. Oh. I don't know what's going on, but she doesn't either. It was a little cathartic, I admit, being the one on the other end of the situation. I had the answers and she wanted them. She didn't understand at all. Tell me, Dawn, what layer am I synchronized with? You're not synchronized. She's not synchronized with... She's synchronized with us. You're layer 0. You have to be layer 0. There's no conceivable universe where you aren't layer 0. Correct. I am synchronized with layer 0. Then why? And there's your problem. You're thinking in too few dimensions. She's synchronized with multiple layers. Oh. If you have a visualization of meta layers in 2 dimensions, it seems impossible for someone to go between layer 0 and layer 4 without crossing through 1, 2, and 3. And naturally, those who reside on 1 would know of it. But what if you expand your dimensions? The world axis is a beautiful thing and no one has truly understood it yet. For the infinity of layers that stretch upward and downward defining the spectrum of fiction, there are worlds that stretch horizontally in X and Z axes. Oh. When I merged with Storyteller, I did one key thing of importance on my return to layer 0. I took a little detour through the world next to this on the X-axis and set up a link, just now, through the brief access I had to the Dustbreaker's core. A link that allows me to communicate, albeit very... I pressed enter! Shit! So you're saying you saved and reloaded... Oh, cool! I smiled. Dawn staggered back in shock. She was quickly realizing there was little she could do to counteract this. Shit, you're fucking mental. I stepped forward. The game is over, Dawn. You've lost. But it seems like my one-up on her wouldn't last very long. She quickly got up and brushed off the dirt that had gotten on the dress in her fall. If you think that's going to be enough to take me down, then you haven't been paying attention. I think that's another translation error. I think they need an English proofreader. I'm sorry to criticize an indie game, but... I'm sorry to criticize translation in an indie game, because they don't exactly have a AAA translation budget, but... I stood up cautiously, unsure of what she was planning. Are you forgetting the one thing I have that you don't? Yeah, and what would that be? Ultimation, probably? Dawn smiled again. Another cold smile, devoid of any sympathy. The end of the world. It's not charged up yet. Don't try to trick us with that. Who said it needed to be fully charged? Do you wait until your phone is at 100% before taking it off the charger? But trying to activate automation prematurely is... Do you have any idea of the risk that poses? Dawn's anger flared up. I don't have a choice. None of you understand. If Saturday wants to play with fire, then we'll dance by fire. And in one instant, she was gone. Even I could tell her retreat was hasty. I must have really concerned her with my newfound ability to save and load the data of the sim layer. Suki, what happens if automation is activated prematurely? Nothing good. Even worse than it already would have been. The deletion process has less power to draw it from, so it's prone to... Before she could finish, just like at the graveyard, The sky turned a violent shade of red. Chio ran over. Watch out! Immediately above us, a large meteor materialized in the air, glitching and twitching like a dying animal from the various polygons it was made up of. Shit! Go! We ran as fast as we could back to Chio's car. We made it in time, and could only watch as the meteor fell, destroying the entirety of the monument that marked the northernmost point in Japan. Did we make it? Suki grimaced. We're not out of the woods yet. Chio, get the car going, now. A violent earthquake began to shake the ground. Tears and cracks in the simulated earth formed as the ground began to split apart. We jumped in Chio's car as fast as we could. As we sped down the highways, I heard a shrill laugh up above us. I couldn't see who it was, but there was someone up in the sky. I knew who it was. Let's see you wiggle your way out of this one. There was no mistaking it. It was the end of the world. We had gained an invaluable ability, and sped up our time limit at the same time. There was no more turning back. This was the finale of the story. Did it just end there? What? Can't just end there. Oh, it didn't end there. Okay. Okay, so that's a lock. How do I solve the lock? There must be something in the menu. Profile, maybe? I don't think it's in the Tamasachi. Although there is something with this. I am like frantically trying to figure out what's happening here. I'm going to try literally every game feature I have access to figure out what's happening. Y'all might not be as into this as I am, given that y'all haven't really seen all of the story. But I am so fascinated right now. Is there something on the store page? Maybe? Something I know recently. Or something I know as of very, very recently. There is... As of this story update, there is now a warning on the when you open the game. It gives you two things. It gives you an epilepsy warning, and now it gives you a warning that says the VividStasis will have the best experience when connected to the internet. That's new. That's only been added with this update. So I think there must be something to do with the internet, but I'm not sure what. Let me check my achievements. I've seen meta stuff in games. You, Me, and Her got real near the tail end. I haven't actually played You, Me, and Her because it tends to be a little bit, there are several scenes of it that are a little too, risque for me. But I have watched several videos about it. Okay, there's a manual. Maybe I can read through the manual? Sorry, my mom was calling me. Sorry, I'm looking through the game manual to see what I can find here. Note types, challenge gauge, course mode, song shop, player rating, note flowchart. Okay, this is the manual is old. The manual hasn't been updated in a hot second, so that's not it. Store page, community hub. Stasis story. Okay, as far as I can tell, there's nothing on the store page. This is the puzzle section. Well, the puzzle section is usually delineated by nodes, by like a... Like, if I go back up to the story, you'll see how there's ones that show, like, story nodes, these blue ones. There's song nodes, these orange ones, and then there's just progress nodes. The puzzle nodes are usually delineated by a little red icon. That looks like this. So there must be something I can do with this here lock. It looks like something from Between Space. I've seen this before in Between Space. Oh, whoa. Okay, this is new. 600? What do I need 600 gems for? Do I really need 600 gems? Okay, so I may not be completing the story today. It says I need 600 gems, which I do not have. I don't even have 400. I can't go back. Can I return to the hub from here? I should be able to return to the hub from this save point. Turn to hub. This would be the puzzle section. Okay, so this will take me back to layer 1. So this game mode is basically, it exists on layer 2. If I go through that little portal back there, it'll take me down to layer 1. There is an unfinished puzzle here. You see these lamps? There's one more. And I am like 80% sure it's behind a 400 gem door that I don't have enough to unlock yet. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is go find the rest of the gems. Which means I'm gonna have to search pretty much every inch of Between Space. I don't know if it might be better to stop here and search through Between Space on my own time, or if it might be better to, I can go this way. These are, in theory, this is the puzzle section, but in order to get to where I need to be, I think, to do the actual puzzles, I need to get more gems, which I do not have. I think once I get all of the lanterns, that will unlock something for me. But until I can get 400 gems... Okay, so I spent, like, 2 hours trying to get up to 400 gems, and all I've been able to get to is 393. So I'm gonna have to search pretty much every inch of Between Space to get up to those 400 gems I need to unlock the next door. This may honestly be one that I have to do on my own time, because this is going to take a hot second. Okay, I don't want to go up there yet. Up there is another puzzle room. I can go down here, though. So there's nothing up here. Tab? Tab and enter? Tab and reset? I'm not sure what that does. That's got to be an indicator or something. Oh, you're in the future, Kenny! Happy New Year! Okay, so I can't do anything in there at the moment. I'm sure there's a puzzle in there, but I don't know what to do with it, so... I'm gonna save and head up here. Okay, so this is the room, if I remember correctly. Okay, yes. I think the first time I discovered this room, I was in like a situation of wanting to get through the story as fast as possible. So I didn't do all of my due diligence when it came to getting around, looking around. Huh. Okay, so that's not gonna work. Wait a second, why is there a ladder over here then? Okay, there's probably a secret there somewhere. But it is not a secret I have access to at the moment. Ah, I messed up. Okay. Go over here, press this button, go over here, this way, up here, over this way again. There's gotta be something relevant to that. Why would it let me do this if not to... There is definitely a secret in here that I'm missing. I'm just, not quite sure what that secret is. What if this is blue, though? There's no other ladder. There's no other way to get up here. Okay. I have been up to this room before. There's a secret here somewhere. Up here, maybe? I think there was something in this room. I'm sorry, this is mostly gonna be me, searching for gems. There's a file down there. Okay. But I've unlocked that file already. Okay, let's go up here. See what I can do. So I can go over there. I think I'm gonna go down first, or go generally downwards first. Okay, can't do anything there. That's a dead end. So instead I'm going up and over. This is talking more about how the simulation works. I've read that already. So I've been down there. I need to be up here. This way, this way, this way. Okay, so there's nothing in either of those rooms. This room has this room theoretically has the opportunity to earn more gems, but I don't actually have the ability to do it since I'm not good enough at this game to attempt the hard difficulty on this song. It's a 13. Is comic book talk allowed in the interim? Absolutely. Although if I'm playing the tougher rhythm game levels, this is a 13, I'm gonna die. What is this? So, Absolute Batman's really good. I think it does What If Batman Was Born Working Class in a really interesting and funny way. Ooh. Did that get me any gems? No, it did not. I'm still stuck at 393. Okay. I have not actually read Absolute Batman, so I'm a little bit regretfully uninformed on this one. Okay, so I checked every inch of the sewers. Or I checked almost every inch of the sewers. There's one other place I can go here. Oh, this way? No, not this way. I think the question of what if Batman was born working class is kind of a... What's the word? Like a... I'm trying to figure out what the right descriptor is. Like a moot point, almost? Because if Batman was working class, he wouldn't be Batman. He would have neither the time nor the ability. Like, I think Batman as a concept only really works if he is a rich guy. I think there's gotta be puzzles here that I'm missing somehow, but I'm not sure what to do or what to do about it. So that's the entrance. Can't do anything with that at the moment. Yeah. My issue with the gems is I am not good enough at the rhythm game to... get more gems. They solved that by saying... Bruce Wayne decided to be Batman at age 9 and has committed every decision to becoming Batman. Okay, see, that makes more sense. The concept of Batman does work in that sense, I suppose. But at the same time, it's an interesting debate as well, because it also fundamentally changes, like, what Batman is. Okay, that is a... Oh, have I not... Do I not have any gems on this? Why don't I have any gems on this one? I should be able to get a couple gems by playing the opening and middle difficulties of this song. What was I saying about Batman? It fundamentally changes the concept of Batman, because Batman, at least in the usual canon, is the idea of a grown man. A very traumatized grown man with a whole bunch of issues. But a grown man, nonetheless. Or, well, maybe not grown. He's supposed to be fairly young when he starts Batman still, like 18, 19? Like, it's not like he's 40 and starting Batman, but the point still stands. Arsu! The Absolute series is a thing where they try and take where they take the key aspects of a character and try and still keep the core. So for Batman, it took away as well. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that got me 7. I have 400 now. I have exactly 400. I just have to make my way back to the teleporter thing, which I think is over here. So for Superman, he was raised on Krypton. For Wonder Woman, she was raised in hell without a community of Amazons. Interesting. Well, you know what's really interesting to me is for Batman and Wonder Woman, they either give them or take away their community. For Superman, they gave him a community. They gave him a history. I think it's this door. Oh, why? It bugged. Of course it bugged. I don't mean that to be derogatory. I just mean that, of course, it bugged right when I'm trying to get to where I need to get to. It's fine, though. I hope it saved those gems, because I don't want to have to go play that chart again. Okay, between space. Save the gems, yes. Okay, so I can return to hub. If I go right up over here, I think there's a teleporter right inside. Or wait, no, this is final landing. I don't need final landing. Like, for Wonder Woman, they took away her community, which is interesting that they see that as a fundamental part of the character. For Superman, it makes more sense, to me at least, that having community would be a fundamental part of the character. Okay, so not in here. This is not where I need to be. Wait, isn't it up here? Was it up here to get to the hub? Yes, okay. Oh, it's bugged! No! It's okay, I think I can get to where I need to go through a different door. Although I will need to remember to report that bug later. What's funny is I feel like I could describe Absolute Batman as the Batman who had to learn how to make friends. The Batman who no one let be a sad loner. Okay, so I'm gonna return to hub. I should be able to get to where I need to be through here still. I just have to take a different door. I think it is this far. Okay, I'm actually gonna save here just in case it crashes again. I think it's this door? Yes, it's this door. Okay. Okay, save position in case it crashes. I still need to manage another 200 gems. Oh, it's a Leaf song. This is gonna be hell. Why is it 0? Why is the difficulty 0? That's not a good sign. That is a bad sign. When the rhythm game can't concretely measure the difficulty of a song, it puts it to 0. Note designer non-applicable. Okay, so is it just no notes? What is happening here? Oh. What do I have to be doing here? Okay, so I'm not supposed to hit the black notes, I don't think. Weirdly enough, I can actually somewhat read this through the visual effects. I can't tell which notes I'm supposed to hit. Okay, so it resets regardless of what I hit. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing. The visual effects are cool, though. DC got Absolute up and running around the same time as Marvel started doing Ultimate again, and what's great is they're both pretty solid. That is pretty cool. Okay, so I got this lamp. This is supposed to do something, I think. I don't know what, but I think I can return to hub, save position, return to hub. 475, oh, damn it. Did not hitting the black notes contribute to the combo score? Honestly, I don't know. Okay, so I am definitely not going to be able to find another 75 gems before I get anything productive done. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, save my game, and, okay, so I've got everything in the main areas. It's the miss areas and the wave 2 areas that I'm missing gems from. Wait, is there even another 75 gems left available? 274 out of 315. 315 minus 274. There's only 41 more gems available. How am I supposed to get to 475? Through songs, maybe? Yeah, 126 out of 600. That's how I'm supposed to get gems. Damn it. Okay. In that case, I think this is probably my stopping point for tonight. I will figure out what's happening with the story and with Between Space on my own time, I think, because it's going to take me a while. But, until then, thank you all so much for stopping by. I do not know when I'm going to be streaming again, since I will hopefully be debuting my new model soon. I still have to figure out that. But, yeah, thank you all so much for stopping by. And, Happy New Year to those of y'all already in 2025. To those of y'all who aren't, Happy New Year's Eve. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see ya. Bye.